Colts are placing defensive tackle DeForest Buckner on IR with a neck injury, sidelining him for at least the next 4 games. And they take on the Falcons Sunday morning, first ever regular season game in Berlin. They're looking to bounce back from that Pittsburgh loss. RC Buckner, this is big news. What does this mean for Indy?
You know what? This is huge because of this reason. DeForest Buckner is like a reliable blanket. It never gets talked about. People aren't like, hey, you know what? When I come to your house, it's the one thing I'm looking forward to, but somehow it's always there. Somehow
my wife got so many blankets.
Like somehow it's always extremely reliable. This is high-level, consistent play year after year after year. High-level dependability, reliability, pressure on the quarterback, into the quarterback's face, stout in the run game. And it's not that he's just this huge schematic chess piece that Lou Anarumo uses everywhere, but he's this chess piece that they build around because of his consistency. And now that you've added Sauce Gardner, obviously waiting for Travarius Ward to come back off of injury, this is going to be a huge piece, in my opinion, to the stretch run for this defense.
Yeah, I love how you put that. He's just been good forever, his entire NFL career. He's so reliable, and to lose him, it is a really big blow to the 4-man rush. You saw his double right there. He consistently ranks in the top 10 in the NFL. I think Laiatu Latu really has taken a leap this season, their first-round pass rusher from last year, but he also benefits from all the attention paid to Buckner. This, to me, is where I think the cornerback addition helps the defense a great deal with Sauce Gardner joining. And then, of course, you get Travarius Ward back from injury. You have now the ability to buy a little bit more time for that rush. Lou Anarumo can also dial up some 5-6-man pressures on early downs without worrying about leaving his cornerbacks on an island. So I think this is a situation where the pass rush maybe takes a step back, but your hope is that coverage takes a step forward to mitigate the loss of Buckner for these games.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think this is season-changing. This would be the one person that you could not lose on that defense, in my opinion. I think he's the guy that, from an offensive perspective, we would sit down on Monday and say, what are we going to do with Buckner? How are we going to block Buckner? And the reality is, when you take Buckner and Grover Stewart, I think they're as good a defensive tackle duo going in the NFL right now.
So stout, too.
Those guys, when they're both on the field, we're talking less than 5 yards per play, less than 3.6 yards per rush. When one of those guys are off the field, there is a drastic difference in the performance of this defense. I think he's the one piece that they could not lose. I don't know how long-term this is. If it's a 4-week thing, fingers crossed, or if it's a long-term thing, this could change the Colts season.
And I love that graphic that Dan used because it talks about the cohesion that you need in the interior of the defensive line. Everyone understanding gap control, everyone understanding when there's an opportunity for you to be able to go back.
And how many times have we seen the pass rush, too? Like so you see internal games between those two.
So I think that's the other piece of it, the chemistry that those two have been able to form and how they figure out how to get pressure in the quarterback's face, which we all know affects quarterbacks much more so than it does when you're coming from the outskirts of the defensive line.
We all picked this game, and I'm sorry to say it's our first. Nina, I got to warn you, we have a few gongs coming up. I'm just going to tell you right now. Yeah, we do. We're all on the Colts in Germany, which is the 5th country that the NFL is playing in this season.
Right, Colts,
how about that?
Right.
Back in Berlin, they're amazing. Thank God it's a Friday. My copy here says it was a forgettable night, though, for Sean Payton and the Broncos offense. Denver had season worst in points, penalties, yards per play. They didn't even pick up a first down on 9 of 13 drives. Those 9 drives without a first down are the most in a game by any team this season. This kind of sums it up. For both teams, there were more penalties than first downs. Isn't that exciting? 11 penalties, 10 first downs. And Bo Nix looked kind of jumpy, Dan. What were you seeing there?
Offensively, and the quarterback in Denver are not progressing throughout the season. And that's the biggest concern. 3 things. Number 1, this offense leads the NFL in penalties. It has been the case from the very first game of the season. It's not getting better. Number 2, the quarterback's feet are an absolute mess. And that would be the thing that I'd be most concerned. Just watch his feet. See how closed off his hips are? They're pointed to the tight end. That's why he misses that throw to the edge. Again, just pay attention to his feet. This time, they're pointing down the middle of the field. Now he has to swing all the way to the sideline. There's that throw that's 2 or 3 yards off. This is the worst one of the night. It's in the red zone. He takes off running right now. Why?
Why?
Where are we going? and then all of a sudden there's frantic and anxiety attached to his feet. And then the interception, this is almost Caleb Williams last week against the Ravens. They're not even moving. They're standstill to throw a slant route. For the whole season, Bo Nix's feet have been this anxious, frantic, unsettled state. They're not getting better, and that's concerning. And the last thing I'd say is this. I think Denver's fallen to the gun trap. They're in the shotgun all the time when they throw the football, and there's no way for a quarterback to get his feet better when you're living in the shotgun throwing the football. Sean Payton's brilliant. They got to get him back under center when they're throwing the ball. So those are the three things that have to improve, and they haven't halfway through the year.
Yeah, I wonder if part of that is that when they've called boots, he has not been super accurate throwing off of them. So maybe there's some wariness of that. But to Dan's point, what they're doing isn't working. I mean, the Raiders sold out to stop the run in this. 12 of J.K. Dobbins' 16 carries were into stacked boxes. And the Broncos simply could not punish them for it at all through the air. I think what concerns me the most, and Dan, you really captured this right there, a lot of Bo Nix's inaccurate throws downfield, and he leads the league in off-target throws over 10 yards, come in clean pockets. I mean, the contrast, right, between the pockets was kind of astounding last night, as Denver pass rushers were like in Geno Smith's lap before he had a chance to do anything. Bo, however, even in clean pockets, it almost looked like he thought he was Geno Smith and he was under pressure in them, and it was really hard to watch because the offensive line was playing well. I agree. I think footwork is an issue here. If they can't punish teams for selling out against the run the way Las Vegas did, I do not have much hope for this Broncos offense moving forward.
Yeah, and why does he just takes off right away?
Well, I think part of it is 86% of their pass game is from the shotgun. This is my thing this year. Teams are in the shotgun way too much. I think Denver's in the shotgun way too much. And then when you're in the shotgun, it's just very difficult to marry the timing of the pass concept or route with your feet. And the reality is accuracy is from the ground up. Accuracy doesn't really come from your upper body. It's from the ground up. And he right now is a mess from the ground up.
It just seems like he was a lot more methodical in college than what we saw last night and last year. And that is concerning. Of course, the defensive side of the ball is kind of what we thought they were at the start of the season, right, RC?
Listen, absolutely. Even last night without Patrick Surtain, I mean, save from a drop by Thornton, who had actually beaten Riley Moss on a double move, they again put pressure on the quarterback. They beat up Geno Smith the entire night. And I love the way Mina and I talk about this all the time. Vance Joseph doesn't just rest on a four-man rush because Nick Bonito and because Jonathan Cooper and Zach Allen can win. He continues to disguise. He continues to show simulated pressure, and he also brings second-level players to add to the rush. And they won that game last night. If you don't believe me, ask J.K. Dobbins, who says so after the football game. But we're going to see this from teams. If you look at the last 2 weeks, 18 points scored against the Houston Texans, and then last night you only scored 10. Right. This is a team that can't put points on the board, and after a while, when you continue to put that sort of pressure on your defense, not only do they break physically, there's also a mental and emotional toll that it takes when you feel that you are under pressure every single snap.
I don't know why they didn't stick with Dobbins more either. Speaking of him,
if you're the Raiders, if you're the Raiders, you were like, Bo Nix has to beat me. And last year, I felt like he had the ability to, especially late in the year. There's been a dramatic change, even in this season.
Yeah, which is so crazy.